This is the MVH Studio GTS Series 2 steering wheel mounted to my Moser R12 direct drive wheelbase. And this is the MVH Studio GTS Series 2 steering wheel on my Logitech G29. It's the very same steering wheel on both wheelbases and has the unique property of being capable of running as a standalone steering wheel connected to my PC via USB or directly compatible with a Logitech wheelbase, replacing the stock wheel and retaining the original button and pedal shifter connections. And yes, it does still remain console compatible. And take note of the integrated colour display. This is powered by my Logitech wheelbase, however the data throughput for the telemetry data is over Wi-Fi. I'll cover this fully later in the video. In this video, I'm going to run through the installation process for both setups. Also, I'd recommend you watch my full unboxing video, as I do explain the technical aspects of how this steering wheel is able to function in these modes, and that should help you understand the full concept. For this review, I'm just going to dive in with the expectation that you have that basic understanding. When it arrives, it'll look something like this and require some basic assembly. The parts shown on my table here are for the Logitech wheelbase installation. And these are the parts for the standalone USB connected wheel setup, both sharing the majority of the same components. The only difference is an adapter fitting that sits behind the wheel. When you buy the GTS steering wheel, you select the type of adapter on the store page to suit your requirements. You won't receive both like I have here. This was sent to me to review, hence I do have access to these multiple options. The steering wheel is 320mm in diameter and lightweight at 664 grams. The deep dish allows the button box to sit flush with the rim. The stitch material covering the rim is a faux leather. The button box is 3D printed, featuring 20 button inputs via an assortment of buttons and rocker dials. This chunky bracket holds the button box and shifters in place onto the steering wheel frame. The magnetic shifters are also 3D printed with real carbon fibre paddles. These pieces are part of the paddle shifter assembly for protecting and hiding the wires. Since the GTS steering wheel is a larger mass than the stock Logitech wheel that's being replaced, included is this hub to distribute the weight. This Teflon ring minimises the friction. After removing the Logitech wheel, we'll need to stick this to the front of the wheelbase, as the hub will need to sit flush onto this flat surface. This is the USB adapter for the standalone steering wheel setup. If you're running a direct drive wheelbase, you'll be using this. And finally, the bolts for connecting all the parts. You will need to provide your own tools. Standard Allen keys and screwdrivers will be required. I filmed the installation for both wheelbase options, and that's coming up next. The video has been timestamped, so you can skip ahead to the segment that suits your needs, or go directly to the final part of this review for the testing and evaluation. At this point, I'd attach the hub onto the steering column, screw it into place, and then screw the wheel onto the hub. However, I'm going off script a little bit here. MVH Studios also sent me their Logitech quick release attachment, so I'm going to use that instead. Otherwise, essentially the rest of the installation is basically the same process. The quick release is an interesting bit of kit that I hope to cover in a separate video in more detail. And before we move on to the track, here's a quick run through the menus. To flip between the settings menu and the dashboard mode, press the orange button. Use these lower buttons on either side to scroll through the menu and then press them together to access the setting. And once you've made your change, press them both once more to lock it in. The display comes with 3 dashboard layouts. Since it can receive automatic firmware updates over the internet, it is possible more could be added later. Kicking things off with the Moser R12 here, if you sat through all that installation footage, it's clear the GTS as a standalone steering wheel is the most straightforward setup. You assemble the steering wheel, slap on your wheel side, quick release, and away you go. The steering wheel is certainly robust and can handle my high torque wheelbase no problem. It's a solid feeling wheel. Other than modern Formula racing, the wheel size seems to handle well with all other car classes. Even though we're dealing with 3D printed parts, the way the button box is attached to the steering wheel means the metal steering wheel frame is carrying all the load. The plastic parts are not being stressed, so there's no issues that concern me regarding any weakness. As a steering wheel for a direct drive wheelbase, it should be fine over the long term. Is the GTS Series 2 worth it as a standalone wheel? The price is reasonable, so that's a good start, and it comes with a built-in colour dashboard display. And you won't find another steering wheel at this price point with that feature, so there's some positive takeaways. But really the more interesting prospect is mounting to the Logitech wheelbase. The fact it retains the original button inputs, so my G29 can still operate on a console, is great news. And the dashboard is also compatible with console racing games that support telemetry data, is a cool feature too. On the Logitech wheelbase, this is where it shines the most, extracting the full facility from the GTS. The installation is quite involved, and having to remove the original steering wheel may look like a daunting prospect. The reality is it's just a few screws and unplugging a socket. I was able to do this on my first attempt. I had no issues, it's straightforward. You just need to set some time aside to go through those steps. It's not difficult and hard to get wrong. A fair question to ask is how much does this larger, heavier wheel impact the force feedback? Well, I can tell you it does, and because I do have the MVH Studio's quick release installed, I can swap between the wheels with ease. The GTS weighs 1,297 grams. The Logitech wheel comes in at 979 grams. The difference is about the weight of this empty mug, so not much. I would suggest the size difference is where it mostly counts. The motor has to push against the leverage of this larger diameter wheel. This penalty reduces the strength of the felt force feedback by around 20%, I would say. It's enough where there is a clear difference, and the reduction of force feedback from what is already a low torque wheelbase is not a welcome outcome, but it is expected and maybe not as bad as you may have guessed. So the strength of the effects are lowered, but the cars are no less drivable. The reinforced hub is a welcome feature. There's a paper-thin gap, so it's not a constant addition of friction, but if excess lateral force is applied, the hub picks it up to minimise flex and the stress on the steering column, and that should prevent the chance of damage. The Logitech internals are mostly plastic, so this added support is a useful upgrade. Since the telemetry is delivered over Wi-Fi, there is a small measure of latency. Observing the speedometer readings, the display is not reading the same as my wired speedo. It's slightly out of sync. You can pause the video, you can see that for yourself. I don't know what the refresh rate of the screen is, but that could also be a factor too, maybe. If I run a SimHub dashboard on a phone or tablet over my Wi-Fi network, I can also replicate latency there too. That's the cost of a wireless connection, and you just have to live with that. Occasionally, I did notice a longer than normal delay when shifting for the display to update the gear position. Most of the time it's quick to react, but never instant. Again, that's the product of unavoidable latency. My Wi-Fi router is located in the room below this one, so that can't help either. The glossy plate is a flourish that stands out, an enhancement for boosting visual appeal, and it does look good, but I also have to say it's a surface that shows every speck of dust and fingerprints. But I'm more concerned that it's also a surface that, if scuffed, and I think it is quite easily scratched, will instantly spoil those good looks, so care must be taken when cleaning the surface. I would recommend a soft lens cleaning cloth or cotton wool. I do like the look and features of the GTS steering wheel. MVH Studios have done a good job on its design and the fit and finish of all the working parts. Credit where credit's due, everything's slotted and screwed into place easily. The installation is a low level of complexity. I was successfully able to operate the steering wheel standalone and on my G29, and that offers the potential of extending the useful lifespan of the GTS. Logitech wheelbase owners that adopt this steering wheel can transfer it later down the line if they upgrade to a direct drive setup. That's my review for the GTS Series 2 from MVH Studios. I'm glad I had the opportunity to test it out, a steering wheel with some unique features, a very interesting piece of hardware. And if you want to find out more, click on the products page link below the video. Thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing, and until next time, happy simming and bye bye.